Well, the big news today, June 3rd, 2025, is that Jadon Sancho is leaving Chelsea. It's a bit of a shocker, this one, to be honest. His loan spell is over and he's heading back to Manchester United. There won't be a permanent deal at Stamford Bridge for him. Chelsea have made their minds up, and it seems they've done it pretty quickly. This wasn't what many expected, especially after some of his performances towards the end of the season. But football moves fast and decisions are made. This is certainly one of them. Chelsea aren't just sending him back with a thank you note. Oh no. They're stumping up £5 million. That's right, a £5 million penalty they're paying to Manchester United. This payment effectively terminates the loan agreement and, more importantly, gets them out of any obligation to buy him permanently. It's a significant sum just to end a loan. It tells you Chelsea were absolutely certain they didn't want to commit to a bigger deal. Money always does the talking in these situations, doesn't it? This fee is a clear signal of intent from the Chelsea board. Now, you might be asking why they'd pay £5 million to get rid of a player. Well, the original loan deal had a catch. There was an obligation for Chelsea to buy Sancho for £25 million. This clause would kick in if Chelsea finished higher than 14th in the Premier League. And what happened? They finished 4th, securing Champions League football. So that £25 million purchase was on the cards. Suddenly, paying £5 million to avoid a £25 million outlay, plus his hefty wages, starts to look like a calculated financial move by the club. The fans, I imagine, will be divided on this one. Sancho definitely showed flashes of the talent we know he possesses. He had moments where you thought, yes, this is the player Chelsea needs. But then there were the other times, the quiet games. The club hierarchy clearly had their reservations. That £5 million penalty isn't just a fee, it's a statement. They weighed up the £25 million plus the wages and decided he wasn't going to be worth that investment in the long run. It's a massive call, and only time will tell if it's the right one for Chelsea. So, what really scuppered Sancho's chances of a permanent move to Chelsea? It seems the biggest hurdle was his wage demands. From what we're hearing, Sancho was looking for a salary that just didn't fit into Chelsea's current pay structure. The club, under its current ownership, is trying to be a bit more sensible with its wage bill. They're not just throwing money around like they might have done in the past. So, when Sancho's representatives came with their figures, it was a non-starter for Chelsea. It's a common story in modern football, player talent versus financial prudence. Then there's the issue of his consistency, or perhaps the lack of it. We all saw the glimpses of pure class. He can beat a man, pick a pass, and has that natural ability, but the problem was we didn't see it enough. Not week in, week out. For the kind of money Chelsea would have had to fork out, both in transfer fee and wages, they needed a guaranteed performer. They needed someone who would deliver top-level displays consistently. That's the bare minimum you expect at a club challenging at the top. He just didn't provide that reliability. Let's break down his numbers during the 2024/25 season. He made 41 appearances in all competitions, with 26 of those being starts. That's a decent amount of game time, so he had his chances. He chipped in with 5 goals and 10 assists. Now, 15 goal contributions isn't a disaster by any means, but for an attacking winger, one with Sancho's reputation and potential price tag, you'd be looking for more. Especially more goals. The manager Enzo Maresca has apparently been keen on his wingers hitting higher scoring numbers, and Sancho's tally probably didn't meet those expectations. It's also been pointed out that left-back Marc Cucurella actually outscored Sancho, with Cucurella netting 7 times. When a defender is scoring more than one of your main attacking talents, that's a worry. It highlights the issue of end product. Sancho's talent is undeniable, that's never been the question. But talent alone isn't enough at this level. You need to convert that talent into consistent match-winning contributions. Unfortunately for him, Chelsea felt he didn't do that often enough to justify the investment. This has been a recurring theme in his career post-Dortmund, hasn't it? Jadon Sancho joined Chelsea on loan back in August 2024. There was a real buzz about it at the time. Many people, myself included, thought this could be the move that reignited his career. A change of scenery, a top club, a chance to get back to playing his best football. He certainly seemed happy to be at Stamford Bridge, and you often see players thrive when they feel wanted and valued. The initial signs were promising. and there was a genuine hope he could become a key player for Maresca's side. He certainly had his moments in a blue shirt. The absolute standout, without a doubt, was his goal in the Europa Conference League final. That was just last month, in May 2025. Chelsea were playing Real Betis and they ran out 4-1 winners. Sancho scored the penultimate goal, a crucial contribution on a massive night for the club. That goal helped secure a European trophy and a return to the Champions League. It was a reminder of the quality he has to step up in a big game and deliver. Those are the moments that stick with you. However, alongside those highs, there were definite periods of inconsistency. There were reports, for instance, that prior to that Conference League final goal, he hadn't found the net since a 4-3 win over Tottenham way back in December 2024. That's a long, barren spell for an attacking player, especially one with his creative responsibilities. These extended quiet periods are what cause doubts to creep in. Managers and clubs need players who can deliver more regularly, not just in flashes. It's that sustained impact that separates the good from the great. It's a real shame for him personally that it's ended this way. By all accounts, Sancho was genuinely happy during his time at Chelsea. He seemed to be enjoying his football again, which was great to see after his struggles at Manchester United. You get the feeling he might have hoped for a permanent stay, but football is a ruthless business. If the financial terms aren't right, or if there are lingering doubts about performance, clubs will make these tough decisions. It's a classic case of what could have been for Sancho at Chelsea. Chelsea have had a decent season under Enzo Maresca. Finishing fourth in the Premier League is a solid achievement, and getting back into the Champions League is massive for them. Winning the Europa Conference League adds a trophy to the cabinet too, so they're moving in the right direction. With Sancho not staying, they'll undoubtedly be in the market for attacking reinforcements. They'll want players who fit Maresca's system, but also meet their revised wage criteria. Names like Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa have been mentioned. Chelsea will be active, looking for that consistent goal threat from wide areas. Now, this decision sends Sancho back to Manchester United, and that creates a whole new set of problems for them. He still has 2 years left on his contract at Old Trafford, a contract with significant wages. The new manager, Ruben Amorim, who took over from Erik ten Hag in November 2024, hasn't even worked with Sancho yet. So, Amorim now has a big call to make. Does he see a future for Sancho at United, or is he another problem player to deal with? It's not an ideal situation for a manager trying to stamp his authority on a new squad. Manchester United are in the middle of a major rebuild, or at least they're trying to be. They've already brought in players like Matthias Cunha to freshen things up. They're also reportedly trying to offload other attacking players who haven't quite worked out, like Antony, who's been on loan at Real Betis, and Marcus Rashford, who spent time at Aston Villa. Sancho's return just adds another complicated piece to their already jumbled puzzle. The most probable scenario is that United will still look to sell Sancho permanently this summer. His return might just be a temporary stopgap. The experts have all been having their say, of course. Jason Cundy, speaking recently, wasn't entirely convinced by Sancho's overall impact at Chelsea and questioned whether he was worth the £25 million permanent fee. Joe Cole also weighed in with his opinion on the situation. It's certainly got people talking. One slightly odd detail is that Sancho technically remains eligible to play for Chelsea until the end of June, which includes the upcoming Club World Cup starting on June 14th. Whether he'll feature after this announcement is another question entirely. Football, eh?